Welcome to November's Sisters for Financial Independence, or Sisters for Fi for short, where we are going to go over a range of topics, and we will cover things in this video related to the following. So we are recording this a little bit after Thanksgiving, so Black Friday has happened, Cyber Monday has happened, so we'll dive into a little bit of the consumerism, how we're all budgeting for the holidays, and we'll also go over some more topics that we found interesting throughout the week. At Sisters for Fi, we cover topics related to money. Now, my name is Catherine John, and I am a financial educator, and I am joined here by my sisters who have different perspectives as well as different life goals, and we are here to share our perspective on money, investing, and finances in general. I myself am a mother, so that also plays a role into how I see and view money. And I'd like to open it up to Anna and Elaine to provide a little bit of intro and maybe some perspective on money from their point of view.
Hi, my name is Anna. I'm also a mother of a 3-year-old. I'm providing a perspective of somebody who's, since my child is still fairly new, last year he didn't quite, he wasn't fully aware of Christmas, but this year he is. So I'm trying to balance out how much presents we give him versus kind of holding back a little bit, because I know he's going to get inundated with presents from everybody else. So I don't want to overspend, but also not cheap out and kind of be that guilty mother of not providing happy memories for your kids. So
my name is Elaine. I'm an architectural designer based in the New York City area. I'm here to offer my perspective on having a single income, no kids. I live in a high cost of living area, so I'm still prioritizing, balancing going out, holiday parties, trying to buy gifts for all my friends, but also at this point, also buying gifts for my niece and nephew now, which is also a new expense for myself as well.
Did you buy anything for Black Friday or Cyber Monday? What was the best deal you got? Did you hit the stores at all?
Elaine and I went to Lowe's and I got a timer, but that's for the lights outside, but that's kind of just standard. I didn't go out specifically to target any Black Friday sales.
In-person shopping, I didn't really get anything. Online shopping, I definitely bought some things. I bought some sandals for myself. I bought an electric toothbrush, and I got some gifts for the niece and nephew.
Were these items that were already on your list, like you were waiting for it to go on sale, go on a discount? Or was it like, well, that's a great deal, I should buy it now?
The sandals, I was waiting for a deal. I didn't see any really good Black Friday deals happening for them. So I just took it as like, okay, I'll just buy it now. But I have been wanting them for a while. The toothbrush, I've been wanting, but I wasn't like singling out a specific one. So when I saw it, it was like from Target. I was like, all right, I guess I'll do this one. And then for the other gifts, for like the toys and whatnot, I had an idea or a theme I wanted to stick to. And I kind of tried to see what was available, at least.
Okay. Is that something that you normally do when it comes to gift giving or budgeting? Kind of have a theme in mind, or just something in mind to keep you either on budget or on task for what you're getting?
Like kids, if I'm gifting it for kids, it's nice to have a theme, just because I find it to be a little easier, especially if they're younger. I don't have to get so specific with things. For friends, I don't necessarily stick to a theme, but I'll keep track through the year if they've pointed out things they wanted or their interests and stuff like that.
Okay, and do you do gift exchanges?
In recent years, no. So I haven't had any big Secret Santas, no white elephants. I haven't done any of that in a while.
Okay. And even as a family, we don't necessarily give gifts, right? Elaine has the fortunate or unfortunate, because her birthday falls right before Christmas. So there is that time frame where it would still be good for her to get gifts, or I would want to give her a gift for her birthday, not necessarily for Christmas. And I know many years ago, we kind of stopped exchanging gifts. How do you feel about that we're not doing that?
I'm pretty happy that we're not doing it. To be honest, it's less stressful to kind of go through like a checklist of everybody in the family. And I think we're very thoughtful throughout the year. Of, if we see something or if we have something that maybe extra, we set it aside for the other person. So I think that counts a lot more than kind of just buying something for Christmas just so that, they have something to open up.
I definitely do think that, I remember our parents retired and they were getting ready to sell the house, and we essentially were inundated with so many things. And I do remember seeing things that we had bought either each other, our parents, and they were still either in boxes, unused. It was kind of sad to see that like one of us spent a lot of time and money trying to figure out this perfect gift that wasn't even used, and it essentially either got discarded, donated, or something else in the long run.
Yeah, and it's kind of unfortunate that in general the U.S. society kind of makes it seem like if you don't give somebody a gift, it's like you don't love them. It's like how you show your love. I mean, I know there are different love languages, and some people gift as their love language, but it's not necessarily applicable to everybody.
Do you think you're going to teach your son this concept of gift giving as a way to show love? Is that something that you've thought about? Is it too early? How does he see getting gifts?
That's kind of like a hard lesson that's going to be learned. I think in general for Christmas, I kind of want to make it so that it's like a season of kind of celebration of making things, of like, we have like a nativity set, like a kid's nativity set that I've been showing him. So instead of saying it's all about Santa and all about presents and making a list, I kind of redirect some of the focus away from and try to make the whole experience a little bit more, for fulfilling, decorating the house, making the lights outside like more magical. I want to steer away from kind of just the gift side of it.
Is there a memory from growing up that you remember very specifically about holidays, good or bad, that you want to kind of pass on or just want to take with you as the years go by?
Listening to Marie Jose Chan, I think when our dad used to play that at the house, I think that was one of the more memorable experiences during Christmas. I think he played it like maybe throughout the year, but still, even if like he plays it when he used to live with us, when he played it, it was kind of like always a fond memory for me.
Can you describe who he is? If you know, let us know in the comments if you listened to him growing up.
He is a Filipino songwriter. He has like an album. I don't know if it's called The Spirit of Christmas, but everything in that album I like know by heart. So
I'm glad you shared that because it's been a while since I've actually listened or heard those songs. But the minute you said it, his voice automatically rang in my ear, and I do have the same like good memories with that. What about you, Elaine? What is a memory that you want to kind of hold on to or keep to pass along?
I always liked decorating the house and the tree together. We were always the type of family to have the tree up like on Thanksgiving or the day after Thanksgiving. So we had everything ready for December. We keep it until January 6th for, Three Kings Day. So we've always had the house really decorated. Our mom took like a lot of pride in her ornaments and her decorations. I thought it was really nice to like decorate it together. And again, you can play whatever Christmas music songs you want as you're decorating. You can reflect over ornaments and decorations that you've collected over the years, things like that. And like the other day, I was at Anna's house and we were decorating the tree with her son, and it was nice to have those memories.
And I think for us, so our dad used to work at Fortune Off. Fortune Off, I believe there's still some stores around, but they are a pretty high-end home decor store. And I remember the day after Christmas, our mom would go to Fortune Off when everything was half off, and she would buy Christmas decorations on top of our dad's discount, which is why over the years, Anna's laughing, but I remember that very distinctly, which is why like over the years, there's a lot of Christmas decorations at our house. Like it would be like this very nice Christmas wonderland. And I have some of those pieces. I have some of those ornaments. I have some of our parents' like little holiday villages. And what I've noticed about them is just how good the quality was back then. Because I'm browsing at Target, I'm browsing at these other stores, and I'm looking at some of these holiday decorations, and they're not necessarily like heirloom material. They're not something that you can easily pass down. And that's I'm pretty sad about that, because this is like, there's some things I think that are worth passing on. And I'm so glad I have some of these pieces. But I'm just like, now the quality is just so bad in a lot of these like holiday items. It's sad to see. And I can't believe that we're like spending money on some of these things. Is that what you're finding as well? How's the quality out there when it comes to things that you're buying or purchasing?
Not great. Sometimes if I'm just in Target or whatever store, it's nice to browse the aisles for decorations, whether it's Christmas or any season. And you can tell that, things are kind of shoddy, it's not going to last a season or two. Things will fall apart, things like that.
Do you feel that it's okay? That I'm just surprised how easily us consumers are okay with buying something that breaks down very easily. Or have we just given up? Like, are we just like, okay, this is the way it is? Like, why aren't we asking for more quality items instead?
I think people have just gotten used to like getting it cheaper, and I think that comes at a price. So I think unfortunately what we're seeing now is just like an affordability thing and like a profitability. It's just, if you want something that's like a little bit more high end, like if you want to pay something with like a premium on it, you'll get quality. But if you want to buy something at the dollar store, it's not going to last.
I also feel like that trends are also just cycling so fast that people are willing to spend often but cheap just to stick to those trends, whether it is decorations or clothing or things like that, because they know, well, it won't matter in 2 years because I'll buy something new anyway, because it's with the trend or whatnot.
And definitely social media plays a role in that, right? With that in mind, I want to jump into a video that I recently saw on my YouTube feed where you see a lot of trends. So we see a lot of like DIY stuff. And it is a video by Sophia. I actually don't know her last name, but she is a YouTuber / influencer. And in this particular video, she does an investigation. And I will have Elaine walk through that synopsis, because this is the first time I've actually watched a video that went into this detail about it. So go ahead, Elaine.
Yeah, I thought it was funny because Kathy had posted in our group chat, and I was like, oh, I actually watched that today because I actively subscribe to Sophia. So Sophia Igar is an American YouTuber who's known for a lot of different YouTube videos, like her bad makeup science videos. She has style challenges, as well as kind of the internet made me buy it type videos, including this video that we're talking about now. So in her most recent video, it's called I bought the same dress for $4, $30, $60, or $200. She did exactly that, where she ordered the same, or what she thought was the same dress, at different price points from different online stores. Basically, over the summer, she was targeted for this kind of really nice midi dress that had like these ties in the back. It was like floral. It was a nice dress. And after she was targeted with it, she basically got so many ads on her TikTok feed, or on her TikTok For You page, basically advertising the same dress, but with different audio, different text, but from different vendors. And so through this video, she kind of investigated, well, what is the original dress? Who's selling these fakes, these dupes, these knockoffs? Are they legitimate? What is the deal here? So after many months of waiting, after ordering for at least 4 different dresses, she finally compares all of them to the control dress, which is what we consider the real dress, is a dress from a brand called House of CB, which is a fashion brand that's sold at like Nordstrom and other stores. But from the video, the main takeaways are her going into depth, investigating all these different kinds of scams that go on social media, TikTok, Instagram, all those different things. Whether it's how they're taking your money. Sometimes these companies are taking your money and then they're falling off the face of the earth. How people or companies are drop shipping low quality fakes like these dresses. And she also talks about how companies are also stealing designs of clothing as well as stealing content from creators. People are stripping their videos, pretending they're someone else just to sell an item, things like that. It's a pretty good video.
Yeah, I thought so too. I was just so from the perspective of someone who like teaches personal finance and all that, it's scary how easily and quickly maybe the new generation can fall into buying these very cheap, inexpensive items and sometimes actually never getting it. Like I think she gave an example of two instances where she buys a product, she goes back to the website, and the website no longer exists. Her money's gone. Basically, they just stole her money, no product in sight, and someone else is probably doing another spin up of the same thing, same concept, and taking money from other people. And this is a kind of like, I think it's pretty scary, especially for people that are not aware or that easily fall into this trap or this kind of push marketing and advertising. And I think sometimes we tell ourselves that like, oh, I don't have the willpower when it comes to shopping. But a lot of it is like technology getting pushed at us, advertising getting pushed at us, like a lot of shady stuff happening in the background that sometimes we have no control over. Anna, what did you think of the video when you saw it?
I wasn't completely surprised, to be honest. I mean, I don't have TikTok, I just have Instagram, and I don't know like what level of scamming there is on Instagram. On a couple of links on Instagram, I clicked on it and I kind of just got the feeling that it wasn't legit. So I kind of just click out of it. So I wasn't totally surprised that there are kind of companies out there that are fake, putting somebody else's, pictures or images on a product that they never meant to be a figure for. So, I mean, it goes back to just being aware, and buyer beware has always been kind of like a tagline that has been, in existence for however long commerce has existed. I think just being aware of like how the internet has evolved, it's standard nowadays. And you also have to just keep your head on straight. Like you're not going to get a dress for $5. Like that company's not going to make a profit. So to think that you're going to have something quality in your hand for less than, with shipping, maybe less than like $15, it's hard to fathom.
So why do people fall for it? Why are there a lot of, I don't know what age groups, I mean, I guess depending on the product, but why do people fall for it? Why are they okay to pay that $5 to get that item? Why do you think that's the case?
I think some people just really think that there's a chance that, oh, well, maybe I will get the item and maybe the quality will surprise me. With like, at least for clothing wise, there's fast fashion brands like Shein and Romwe and other things like that, where people do these massive hauls of these clothing. And sometimes they are hit or miss, but when they're a hit, they're a hit. And so people kind of have that hope that if they see something that's trendy, that's their size, that isn't as expensive as, a higher quality store, or even just another store in general, that they're willing to pay for that cheaper price.
Do you think that is based on a generational thing? What do you think? Is that something that do you feel like the younger generation is leaning more towards that kind of like easy, fast, hopeful type of buying?
I want to say yes, because at least younger generations, they're just used to online shopping. They're used to not being physical with their shopping experience, and that's just how it is, and that's just how it's going to be in the future. I don't know if it's me and anyone that's older, that like you're used to going to the mall, you're used to going to stores, or even looking at a catalog, going in store, checking it out for real, and actually making those in life comparisons, judging it there, versus you're really kind of hoping for the best with an online purchase.
I think that's something that definitely our youth is missing out on, right? Like this ability to be able to see quality up close, to inspect an item, inspect a garment, and say, well, this is actually really so nicely. This is a nice quality piece of decor. I am open to paying for it. Now it's like $5 here, $5 there. It doesn't seem as much, but then we discard it like 5 minutes later, and we're like, okay, that's fine. I was only $5 anyway. But I do feel that, like, again, from someone who shares money lessons, like that adds up, right? For both your budget and just also the trash that we're putting towards our planet.
Even if you just go to like a thrift store or something, and if you look at like some of the older pieces, I guess we'll call it older pieces because like back in our day or that, those are even like more quality than like some of the stuff that you might be getting in the store. So those are going to be cheaper in the thrift store, and I feel like that's going to be worth more of your money than maybe some of the ones that are in the mall now.
I agree with that, because I do have some things that I've had for a while now, like years, and they're not necessarily like trendy, which is, I think, to Elaine's point, it's not trendy. It's going to be something that is a little bit more like classic, and the quality's there. But I just bought a bunch of shirts recently, and I washed them one time, put them on, and my husband's like, why does that shirt collar already look weird? And I'm like, well, it's brand new. I'm like, no, it just looks like you've worn it for like 10 years. I'm like, wow, this is the quality of I just bought the shirt. So I was just surprised at the quality, how it's degraded over time. And I'm like, I can't believe I just spent money on that, washed it, and then it's already like falling apart. It's a really sad state.
I guess that's also how they keep you coming back to the store.
Yes, yeah, that's a good point. I guess you need to replace it quickly now because of the lower quality. Now, so when it comes to the holiday, so we are approaching maybe a few, like, probably a month before Christmas comes. How are you budgeting for the holidays? So what's your go-to when it comes to budgeting, or do you have a tip that you might want to share when it comes to saving money during this time?
I think you need to actually make a list of everyone you're going to buy a gift for. Sometimes I feel like people panic buy, that they need to buy a gift for everyone, like we talked about before, but not everyone needs a gift, wants a gift. You can have that conversation on whether or not you're buying gifts or exchanging gifts for each other.
I'm gonna ask you, how do you have the conversation? Like, is that something that you're comfortable telling your friends that, like, hey, let's exchange gifts, but let's put a budget on it, or let's cap it?
Friends, I'm okay with having that conversation
Mhm.
because at least for me, it's like I kind of can have that conversation like, oh, we're all just some 20-something-year-olds figuring out what to do with our money. With family, at least our family, I'm comfortable talking about if we're getting gifts, but I know that's not an easy conversation for everyone,
Mhm.
especially when, most people are going to buy gifts for a lot of people during this season. That's kind of what people are expecting to do. So I'm not really sure how others would tackle that conversation.
And when it comes to your budget, is there like tiers of friends that you'd be willing to spend more of versus not as much, or maybe you have a significant other that you spend more on? Like, what's your take on that?
Very limited friends I buy gifts for, which is good. So it'd probably be like friends and then significant other. But I also think, at least with like your close friends or people that you're buying for, I think you can think about gift giving, like thinking in the long game. You don't need to buy gifts just in December. If you see something earlier in the year that's a good deal and they enjoy it and they're not going to buy it themselves, I don't think I think you can buy something early in the year and just, hide it.
Mhm. So really planning ahead
You
when
can
it
really
comes to,
plan ahead.
yeah.
Especially if you're being thoughtful about it.
Yeah, I don't really have a set budget for gift giving. For my nieces and nephews, at least for the younger ones, we usually do like 1 or 2 gifts, and then only do like 529 contributions. I don't know if for 2 of our nephews, we have it set up automatically throughout the year, and then for my niece, we have kind of like chunks for her birthday and for Christmas. So that kind of is what we're contributing for Christmas, or what we're giving for Christmas, and then kind of just like some smaller toys that they will be engaged in. I don't try to kind of overload the gifts because I know either their parents or their aunts and uncles are going to be also giving gifts, so I don't want to pile up the toys at their house. For the adults, we try to be a little bit more. My mother and father-in-law, we're kind of specific about what gifts we give, so we don't do things specifically. Like for my mother-in-law, I'm taking her to like a football concert because she likes football. And then for my father-in-law, we'll probably do some sort of like gift certificate for like a restaurant that he likes, that's local to us. So something that's more useful rather than like a shoe shiner or something. Yeah, so we try to be lean about the gift giving. That's not to say that we're super like stringent with our money, but we don't want to have too many things like cluttering our house and their other people's houses also.
I think that's something that's important, super important to like recognize too. Like, when you give a gift,
Mhm.
you are basically asking someone else to take care of something else, whether they want to or not, right? Like, I know that it comes from a place of love, and a lot of our family and friends give toys to my 4-year-old, 4.5, and it's great. I love it. She loves it, and of course we're like, thank you. But it does, the burden of having to maintain that gift, figure out what to do with it on top of everything else, it does get on you as the gift receiver. And I think in the same vein, like, we're trying to have minimize that too, like the alternatives, doing an experience activity like a restaurant. I didn't know that your mother-in-law loved pit balls, so it's something that I love. Yes, I think it's just something that, like, we have to just be conscious of when we're gifting something, and maybe like think outside the box instead of getting that like gadget that you saw last minute. Be a little bit more thoughtful with gift giving. It'll just save you money and time and kind of sanity in the long term.
Yeah, I think that's something that's been nice with our family, is gifting more experiences rather than physical items. Whether it's going to a concert or going to a show, a restaurant certificate, something like that. I know in the previous years I've gifted like a zoo membership. There's museum memberships, like something that the family could do together. So you're still making those memories, and it's still something you can talk about, but it's not another like last minute purchase that's just gonna, who knows where it's gonna be in the house type thing.
Yeah, very true. And that is appreciated. Definitely appreciated when that happens. All right, sorry, we have to switch to a different meeting platform, but we're talking about ads on Facebook, because when I go on Facebook, I feel like every 2 posts is an ad for something. And as someone who used to work in the ad tech space, where we were one of the first companies that did targeting, the level of targeting right now on Facebook is insane. I don't know, I'm just seeing like the ads that I'm seeing are so relevant that it's hard to like click away from it. But I'm also not on Instagram. I'm not on Instagram. Still taking a break from it. I have accounts, but I just haven't been logged on as much and as often. And I'm not on TikTok. So Facebook is like my primary social media. So I'm just like surprised the level of targeting that's available there.
Are you getting targeted like items or services, or like what are you getting targeted for?
A bunch of random things. Right now, I'm getting targeted for a travel luggage that makes it easier to travel with children. I was looking at luggages a few days ago, but I didn't buy anything there. I am getting targeted. What else? This learning app for like different languages. It's just interesting. Like some of the stuff is I've actually browsed for, which I understand that I'd be targeted for that because I haven't bought anything yet. But it's also a little bit repetitive because sometimes I buy it and I'm still getting targeted for it. A lot of language stuff. Like, want to learn a new language? Here's an app for it. Here's a book for it. So it's very interesting. That's all.
But I guess you could also keep in mind that's how they make their money. I mean, that's how they can even build those, structures or systems to keep Facebook going. It's just the advertisers, right?
Yeah, I think that's one thing that we all have to understand is that like Facebook is free for a reason. Like all the other platforms are free for a reason because they're basically using our content, a lot of what we're generating to get more eyeballs.
Yeah. So it's free in the sense that you're not physically paying for it, but your attention
exactly
is going online.
Exactly. Yeah. The attention economy. That's what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm scrolling through my Facebook now. I don't have that many ads.
Wait,
I got Wendy's and Home Depot and LL Bean.
Do you do shopping? Do you do shopping on this computer?
I'm looking at my phone.
Oh, you do shopping on your phone. Where do you do most of your shopping?
On the computer. But I feel like I'm normally scrolling through everything on my phone, and then I see it on my phone, and then I'll buy it, but I buy it on my computer.
What is the strategy behind that? Why do you do that?
I'm just on my phone all the time, but I don't like making purchases on my phone. I feel like I have to do it in front of a big screen.
Yeah. I think that's a good tip actually for people who are finding that they're overspending or just constantly like buying because it's so easy on the phone, especially if you have your Apple Pay, if it's enabled, it's just like a double click and you've bought something. I've actually recently started doing that, especially when I was like kind of just buying off of Amazon, just to look at it and make sure that I was actually buying something that was relevant and had really good quality in it.
Yeah. I guess that's true. Like I'll add things to my cart on the Amazon app, but I won't check out unless I'm on a desktop. I like have to switch platforms and I have to like just change my setting to physically buy something.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess virtually buy something.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I think that's good that you do that. It's a good habit, I think, to have so that you're reviewing your purchases before you hit the buy button.
Yeah, because Amazon's focus is to make it frictionless, so that it is just like one click shopping and then you're done. And you've subscribed to like dishwasher detergents for like every month.
So I did not renew our Amazon Prime membership.
Wow.
And so I made purchases before Kathy.
Wait, what?
I bought things before Kathy canceled it.
Oh, are you on Kathy's?
Yeah.
Oh, you could just go on ours, Elaine.
There's always someone.
Yeah, there's always someone. And so now it's just an experiment to see how badly do we need it or how often did we really need Amazon Prime, because we weren't really using any of the other services. Like we weren't watching video off of it. We sometimes use Whole Foods, but I don't think not enough to justify. And I also felt like we were buying a lot of things really last minute because it's very tempting to have it like delivered overnight, which is to me is crazy. Like overnight, like someone is basically just waiting for my order and they're just running to get it and deliver it. So I was like, all right, let's pause on Amazon and see what happens. So I guess we'll talk about it in a few months to see how this update goes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like torn with Amazon. I think Elaine may have mentioned this before because we've talked about this before, Elaine, because we do get Amazon packages like you said overnight, and we're in like South Central Jersey where there are warehouses popping around like all
everywhere
in our town, and so like everybody's getting mad, like why are these warehouses here or what? But then everybody's also clicking on Amazon to like make their purchases. So it's like, what do you really want? You want the convenience, or do you want like the farm field to look at? It's like,
yeah, that's something too. I think that people don't really understand too. That like that happens. I mean, there's the connection of that, right? That like it's fast because they put a warehouse next door to you.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I don't want the warehouse. Like, don't expect things to be there.
Yeah, immediately. Mm-hmm. Think about your toilet paper purchase like a week ahead.
I mean, I guess we're so now I think we've been conditioned, and I think this is also going to our children are now conditioned to want things immediately.
Yeah.
And this is what makes me fear about like even buying a gift for Christmas. By the time she opens it, maybe someone else might have given it to her already. Maybe she's now enjoying something completely different than you, because like the churn of toys, of movies is so fast and so quick that like we don't have time to enjoy what's out there before the new one comes out. So like I'm worried that like all the stuff I'm getting her now is like obsolete, or like it's just no longer like relevant for her, and it's only just like a month away.
I think about that sometimes when I'm thinking about buying things
Right.
for them. I'm like, well, maybe they're not going to like this brand or show in a month. Like maybe they're not going to care for it. So if I can stay away from certain branded things and be a little more generic, then maybe they'll like it. At least it won't be something that they're like, well, I liked it when I was 3.5, but now I'm 4, you know, like, who knows?
Yeah. But I think it's the same for adults too, though. Like if I get you something, what prevents you from getting it yourself? Right? Like it's so easy for you to get it yourself. It's so there's the barrier for you to buy it. It's so little, maybe just money, or maybe she didn't think about it. I mean, you said that you were getting some things for your friends that you know that they would want, but are not going to buy for themselves. But what's that line? There's a fine line with that.
I feel like you do get to a certain age, and then for the most part, you can buy, whatever you want. It's not like a guessing game anymore.
Yeah. So
especially the means.
Yeah. What's the point of exchanging gifts at this point? Like I think the experience one it feels a little bit more. It can go a long way.
I keep a running list. I have an Excel spreadsheet of here things I want. But I go through it and I'm like, do I still want this? Do I not want this? Or if someone asks me like, oh, what do you want for your birthday or Christmas? I look through the list and I'm like, I could just buy that for myself. And then I'm like, well, what is something that's worth someone else buying for me that I wouldn't necessarily spend money on?
Yes, you have a list. At least you have a list.
Yeah. And then I'll revisit it. I'm like, oh, remember when I wanted that thing and now it doesn't matter.
And there's something about like you can obsess over an item for a period of time, and then in a week or so, you completely forget about it. I don't know if that's been like something that you've had happen or that you've thought about, but for the past few weeks, I've been obsessing about buying like certain things, waiting for Black Friday, and I'm like, that's not a good deal. Cyber Monday, not a good deal. And now I don't even care. Like I don't even care. Like I'm not even looking at the website, nothing. So there's just like this very short window of you wanting things and everybody else saying you should get it, you should get it. Like everyone else, I mean, like all the ads telling you should get it, you should get it, and then like a day later you're like, I kind of don't need it at this point. I don't want it. No thanks.
I guess that's one way of figuring out if you really need that item or not. Just kind of to wait it out and see, does it call to you? If not, then I guess you don't need it.
Yeah.
Wait it out, sleep on it. Sometimes I keep all of my tabs open or I add it to my cart and then I'll check a week later and I'm like, oh, did I still want this thing or not?
Or like similar to that, Elaine, I'll put like a wish list on like Amazon for like Rocco or something, or like Rocco when he's older, and then I'll like run through to see would he like this now or would he still like it in the future, and kind of just like remove things as I need to.
As a mom, you're also thinking like ahead. I feel like, especially when it comes to clothes, when it comes to toys, maybe educational toys, like you're mentally calculating like, well, he's going to be 4 in a few months, but he can't fit into 4T. So you need to start like planning about, well, then I need to get him pajamas, or I need to tell people that if they're going to get something, get the size, or well, he's kind of interested in this toy now, but it doesn't seem like he's he's going to be into it in a few weeks. So just a mental accounting of all of that and putting that all, I guess I think it's a good way to track that. Like he was interested in it, but I'm not going to buy it until we're ready, or if he changes his mind. Saves you time. So the last thing that we are going to cover in this month's roundtable is this Empower survey. Now, Empower is a financial company, a tech company, and they provide a platform to help you with your finances, to get a view of the finances. If you have used Personal Capital before, they bought Personal Capital, and it is a great tool to help you just understand the overall look of your net worth, of your budget, and all of that. So I'd recommend taking a look. It's free, I believe, to use their app and their platform. And we'll have a link in the description for you to check it out. And it's also, they do have like a financial advisor option fee, but I would just wait until you get a sense of your accounts to visit that for yourself. But Empower recently published their survey on financial happiness. And really the question they were trying to answer was, can money buy happiness? And the answer was yes for 6 in 10 Americans. So around 59% of their respondents said that money can buy happiness, with 72% of millennials and 67% of Gen Z. Now, what do you think? Do you think can money buy happiness?
I think to a certain extent, I think it can relieve some stress, some financial stress. So I think it brings you up a notch, but not necessarily, you know, maintaining that happiness or contentment is kind of a fluid thing.
I think money can buy or bring security. It doesn't necessarily bring fulfillment, but there's a lot of people who are struggling, to make ends meet, put food on the table, pay for their house, rent, kids, all of those different cars, all of those things. And I think, yeah, if people had a little more money, they probably would stress a little less about their day to day.
Yeah. So in that survey, they found that 71% of Americans believe that having more money would solve most of my problems. Not all of the problems, just most. And 59% of Americans say money can buy happiness, though just 17% say financial happiness is reaching a certain net worth. That's a lot to say, actually, that the numbers on your screen doesn't necessarily equate to happiness. And most associate happiness with on-time bill payments, which I would think reduces a lot of stress, right? When you have enough money to pay for bills. And a debt-free status, 65% associate debt-free status as a means of happiness. For 44% of Americans, including 58% of Gen Z and 55% of millennials and Gen X, financial happiness means having a good work-life balance. I think it's super important. I think that's kind of like in line with many of us wanting to have enough to pay for our basics and pay for some of our wants and our luxuries. There was a generational divide, though, based on the survey, that specifically for millennials, the price tag for financial happiness is 1.2 million, and millennials estimate needing more wealth than other generations to be comfortable. What do you think that is? Why do you think millennials feel like they need more to be happy overall?
That's why I couldn't really figure out. I don't know if it's just like the wording of the survey or just like the people who were involved in the survey. They always say like millennials are behind because of like the student loan repayments and like just that coming into of age when like the recession happened. So we were a little bit behind. So I wonder if that's kind of impacting our kind of security or financial happiness, if we're kind of verging on having more money, kind of more of a net worth or more of a salary to be comfortable, knowing that things may get rocky at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I was surprised at that too. When it comes to salary, Americans say they need 284,000 per year to be happy, with men's estimates much higher than women's, 381 and 183 respectively. And millennials put that number at 525. Just crazy.
Yeah, I saw that.
525.
I don't know where that came from. Because I feel like I'm sure there's plenty of millennials that would just be happy to be making
75?
Even like 80K, right? Even to be at three figures, I think is still a dream for most people. So I don't know. The fact that it was over 500,000, I was like,
which is so skewed because the other numbers, the millennials think they need 525K of salary to be happy. Gen Z 128,000, Gen X 130,000, and Boomers 124,000 annually. And Gen X, Gen Z, and Boomers are very like kind of on the similar.
Terrible. Yes, I don't know what happened to the millennials in that category.
So I'm kind of curious, wondering if Empower is maybe they're focused on like tech professionals, or maybe I wonder if their like target market for their platform is focused more on tech professionals who in the past few, maybe in a decade, have been making bank. Like they've been working in some of these fast rising technology companies, startups, and they're used to this high income. I'm wondering if that's what's skewing these results. It kind of feels weird that millennials would need and want at least $500,000 just to be happy. Yeah, so that was an interesting survey. I will link that in the description too if you want to take a look and read through. There was some other information there. I'll read this too. Independence and a cup of coffee are strongly linked to feelings of financial independence. A majority say contentment is not having to rely on anyone else financially. Agree, 87%. Being able to withstand unexpected financial needs, 87%. And the ability to financially take care of loved ones. Makes sense. For many, happiness is also defined by everyday spending flexibility. 62% of millennials say they're willing to pay $7 for a daily coffee because of the joy it brings. Why do they always put millennials and the latte together? Like, so it's so annoying. And the last thing, 73% of people say they'd give up social media if it meant financial happiness. 73%. So is social media making us financially unhappy? And why can't you just give it up or like just take a step back from it?
Maybe to some extent, like if you're looking at Facebook or Instagram and you're comparing your their highlight reel to your real life, it might make you a little bit unhappy with maybe the things that you may be going through, or that you may be sensing that your life isn't perfect, but nobody's life is perfect. So, but I think you have to keep that in mind, that they're it's like an edited clip. It's not their life 24/7.
So do you think that's still like really social media is influencing many of our buying and spending decisions heavily still? So I feel like we've had social media for it's been out for a while now. So I think hopefully we can tell the difference.
I think, yeah, to some extent, because we're still trying to keep on trend with what's happening out, trying to be
Yep.
cool. Elaine's like, you're not cool, I know.
But Elaine,
Whatever they say these days.
You're a young millennial, I guess, right? Like Anna and I are definitely older millennials, and you're a young, kind of on the cusp of Gen Z. Social media making you financially unhappy?
I wouldn't say directly, but I would say indirectly, because you're always comparing yourself. Well, when you're being constantly fed, here's the next thing to buy, here's the new cool thing, here's the new viral product, and if you don't have it, you're not it. And then you're always kind of constantly comparing yourself, whether it is through TikToks, Instagram, Reels, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, all of those social medias. You're always kind of seeing what someone else has and what you don't. And so in a way, if you're not secure about your belongings, then yeah, you're going to kind of feel unhappy about what you have and what you don't have.
Which then, yeah, leads you to overspend maybe, or get into debt for things that look cool maybe.
Because you think it'll make you happy.
Yeah. I guess so. Okay, I guess that makes sense. And the last thing that I'll read from this is that the secret to experiencing more happiness: having a plan of action. 7 in 10, 73% believe that a solid financial plan would bring me happiness. In fact, those with a detailed financial plan seem to experience greater overall life happiness, with a significant boost in their financial well-being. I do agree with this, because I feel like if you have a plan for yourself and your money, you tend to have more focus on that, right? Like and I think the key, this is the secret. If you've read a lot of those self-development books, the key is to actually know what you want first. Because once you know what you want, then you can work towards that. You can put your goals and focus towards that. If you don't know what you want, you can kind of spend your days meandering. And I understand experimenting is important too, but sometimes you meander and you end up like spending more money or doing things that doesn't bring you any value. To put a financial plan in place for yourself, so you spend your money in the things that bring you most joy, I guess.
When it comes to like the holiday season and spending money, I feel like there's a lot of people who don't like the holidays because they're stressed because of shopping. And they're less enthusiastic because they just associate it with spending, right? I have to spend money, I have to go buy things, they have to put time into their day to do all these things. And it's unfortunate that the holidays, or whatever you may celebrate, is reduced to that. And of course, our family, we're able to kind of take a step back from gift giving, and we have the privilege to be able to do that. And we don't have to expect gifts from each other. We can spend money differently, and not everyone can do that. But I can definitely see how the holidays are like a huge financial burden on people. And I think, in a way, if you can kind of stray away from focusing on gift giving, or being as frivolous, then you probably will enjoy the holidays a little bit more.
It is definitely stressful. And I think especially as a woman who is basically in charge of holidays, like it has fallen on me to make sure we set up decorations, to get the gifts, to create a holiday atmosphere that is memorable. And I think a lot of women can agree that that is also their responsibility and on their plate. And it also adds on to the stress of having to manage family activities, family members, if you are going to spend holidays with them without them having to think about gifts for other family members. So yeah, I think it's absolutely stressful. And I think if you do want to change that for your family, I would absolutely recommend having those conversations early with your family members, with your children, about how you want the current or next holiday to be. Like, unfortunately, you can't just switch and say we're not doing presents this year. Like, that's a shock to that will be a shock to everyone's system, especially because everyone is so used to it. Everyone is used to like getting gifts or sharing gifts. But if you want a different kind of holiday season, you need to have that conversation about what you want out of the holiday, so that you are more intentional about it, and everyone is also included in the planning of it. And that's my take on it.
And one tip, maybe, if you're currently, or in the past, giving everybody a present, and you're exchanging, with all the different adults, maybe decide to give only for the kids, and then for the adults, do like a name and like a hat, and then you just get one adult gift, and everybody does the same thing. That way, you're not buying gifts for multiple adults.
Yeah,
that might be one way of kind of decreasing the amount of gifts that you're giving out.
It'll save you time and money. Yeah. Elaine, you made a face when I said that. I don't know if you made a face or about like the responsibility of the holiday falls on mainly women, I think.
Yeah, I thought that was a gross concept.
It's
I
true.
feel like relationships shouldn't be that way.
Yes, yes, but I think it's true. And this is from my perspective too. Like I do feel that like it falls on many women as the caretaker of children to set up the kind of magical environment that we all come to love and appreciate during the holidays. But that takes like planning. And I'm in like a lot of mom groups, and it's it's a lot of moms getting stressed out at the holidays because they have to do this and that and that. And it's a lot of juggling.
I will add, and this is kind of not off. This is a little bit off topic because we didn't really discuss about exchanging gifts with your significant other. My husband and I don't exchange gifts for Christmas, but over the past year, well, last year, we actually bought ourselves a mocha pot, which is like the Italian version of like I guess you would call it. What's that?
Espresso.
Espresso, yeah, but it's like the one that you put on the stove. That's what we bought last year, but originally he wanted that espresso machine that was hundreds of dollars, and I was like, no way, we're not getting that. And so finally this year he looked into it again, and after waiting a whole year, he decided that he still wanted it. So we finally got that, and that's like the Christmas presents to ourselves. So it doesn't have to be bought specifically for Christmas, but it can be thought something that you want to do, something that you think of during the year that you can enjoy together. So most mornings, if he's working from home, we have our coffee together, which is nice.
That's a good one, actually. And I mean, you've thought about it for a year.
Yeah.
Too, right? And then now it's being used.
Yeah, I deferred it for a year. I don't know if that was helpful with inflation, but whatever.
Yeah. But now, I mean, you have it now, and you're enjoying it. I had some
Yeah.
for Thanksgiving. It was very, very nice.
Yeah, we use it every day.
Nice machine.
So we're not spending money at Starbucks anymore, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, so we got ours when we moved into our house, and for like the first few months, we were calculating at what point did we break even, right? Because like it wasn't that expensive. We don't have the most expensive espresso machine, but my husband drinks a lot of coffee, like a lot. Like he could probably drinks like espressos like three times a day. I mean, that adds up. But we're like, all right, after 2 months, actually it paid off, and we're like, wow, we should have gotten this earlier. I think that's a concept of like the cost per use, right? Like if you're gonna buy something, think about how often you're going to use it.
Yeah.
Yes. If it just sits in your closet, there's no point. If it sits on your counter looking pretty, what's the point? Instead, like buy something that you know you're gonna use, and take advantage of it. Thank you so much for joining us in this month's roundtable. I'm Catherine.
I'm Anna.
And I'm Elaine. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in more content from Sisters for Fi, check out these 2 videos. And thanks for watching. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Bye.